Hi everybody, I'm Heide Lang and I'm from the Fig Cooking School. We're located right outside of New Haven in Hampton, Connecticut, and we've been teaching cooking classes now for almost 3 years. We've decided that we need to spread, we're so passionate about the food that we make here, that we need to spread the gospel of great food around the country. So just very briefly, I wanted to tell you a little bit about ourselves and what the videos are going to be like, and then we're going to get started. One of our big points we make in classes is to teach people how to make food that is vibrant and well seasoned, but that shouldn't take you 5-6 hours to make one dish. I went to the French Culinary Institute and it was wonderful to have that classic training, and I'm going to share some of those classic techniques with you. But I also know that most of us have a short amount of time to cook. So we are going to teach you how to use some of those techniques, sometimes a bit abbreviated. I won't tell the chefs that I work with, but we're going to teach you how to use some of those techniques in an abbreviated way so that you can make the same fabulous meals that you spend a fortune to eat out. One of the reasons why people take cooking classes is so that they can have the great tastes of things that they have in a restaurant at home. And for most people, that's a real mystery. Well, today, because we're starting from the very beginning, I'm going to teach you about the first secret, and guess what that is? Seasoning. I'm not talking about the great big spices, and one day soon in one of these videos I'm going to have a big shelf here. We're building some shelves here with all our spices on there. We're going to go through those, but for today we're going to talk about the most basic one of all. What's that? Salt. Well, what kind of salt do most people use? They use iodized salt. Not so bad, better than nothing. But there's so many other great salts you can use that don't cost a lot of money and are easily accessible. Before I get started, I'm going to bring a bunch onto this cutting board. I just want you to know that I don't want to overwhelm you. We're going to talk about a lot of different salts today, and you're not all going to go out and buy 6 or 7 salts because A, some of them are expensive, and B, some of them are hard to get. But if you live in a big city, it'll be easy. If you live in a small town and you're intrigued by one of these, there are websites you can get them on. And before I bring them out, I'll just so you have them in front of you. Penzies.com is one, and salt.com is another, and any big upscale grocery store like Whole Foods, if that's in your town, will have many of these ingredients. So let's get started. What is the most important salt to have in your kitchen? Kosher salt. And how easy is this to get? Any supermarket. Here we have Big Y, Stop and Shop. You might have ShopRite, who knows? They all have this. There are 2 different kinds. There is coarse sea salt, coarse kosher salt that looks like the stuff you use on your sidewalk to get rid of ice. Don't buy that, because you want small granules that will be distributed throughout the dish so that it melts evenly, especially if you're not cooking that whole dish thoroughly. So let's take a look at what this salt looks like. Here's kosher salt. It looks like iodized salt, but here's the thing about it. It has less sodium and more taste. The process to make kosher salt is different, and we won't get into all that technical stuff because it doesn't matter. But the bottom line is that it weighs less, so it has less sodium, but the process makes it have more taste. So first thing you need to do is go out and buy some kosher salt and purge your pantry of iodized salt, because that's what's used in a lot of the processed foods you eat. And after you start using kosher salt, you'll see that there's this metallic taste to some of those foods. And we want to get rid of that. We want our food to taste very pure, okay? The next one I'm going to talk to you about is, and don't get scared by this term, sea salt. It sounds fancy, and often some of the really good ones are made in France, but these days it's actually pretty easy to get in the supermarket. This brand, Baleen, sells a sea salt that is also finely granulated, and I'll pour some of that out for you. Let me see if I can pour it out this way. There we go. And as you can see, it looks somewhat similar to the kosher salt, except that it's actually even more fine. So this actually weighs less even than the kosher salt, and I don't know if we can get a good view of that, but you'll see that it's even finer. So that it actually seems saltier because the granules are smaller. So if you use sea salt, you probably need to use a little bit less until you know how to use it. These behave differently than the iodized salt, so it just would take a little bit of adjustment to know how to use them. Okay. Why use sea salt? Because again, it has lower sodium and greater flavor. In fact, it has even greater flavor than the kosher salt. But if you have a hard time getting this, that's okay. Kosher salt will work. So there you have it. We've just gone through the very, very basics here. And in our next video, we're going to do a little advanced placement salt talk. And we're going to talk about sea salt and some other little surprises. So I hope you tune in next time. See you.